This is Patrick from Have Cheetah Wheel View. Thanks for coming back to the channel. Uh, Me and Cheetah, we're here to talk about a movie today. Uh, we are talking about Dark Night of the Scarecrow. Uh, yeah, it's not quite Halloween yet, but we decided we watch this. We're going to be talking to our guest, John Oak Dalton, this Sunday on the midnight hour, and he has a new movie out called Scarecrow County. So Hop sent me this movie a little while ago, so I thought we'd go ahead and watch it and review it, and then because this is the grandfather of all the Scarecrow movies. This is the very first Scarecrow movie in horror, and so we thought we'd talk about it for a minute or two. The Dark Knight of the Scarecrow came out in 1981. It was written by J.D. Feigelson. J.D. Feigelson was a screenwriter who basically had written the movie as a Hail Mary. He had written two of the movies that had not done very well, and so he got away and he decided to do horror because he needed to do something. He felt he needed to do something to establish himself. Things weren't going that well, so he came up with Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. The movie was directed by Frank DiFelita. Yes, I wrote notes because this is important. Frank DiFelita. And it came out in 1981. Dark Knight of the Scarecrow was originally planned as a feature film. It was not designed for a TV film, but CBS bought the film. They bought the film, and they told Feigelson and DiFelita they did not really want very many changes. Now imagine that happening today. Oh my stars, you wouldn't get that today. But back then it was a little different. So they aired the movie twice. CBS aired the movie twice. One in 1981 and once in 1985. The plot of the movie concerns it's life in a small town. There's a young man named Bubba Ritter who's played by Larry Drake, and Bubba is slow, special needs, so to speak. Him and a very little girl named Mary Lee Williams play together. This very innocent, very cute, very innocent. He adores the little girl. The little girl is the leader of the two, but the four men, they led by Otis Hazelrig, who is played by Charles Durning, think that Bubba has evil designs on the little girl, and so they're always watching, especially Otis. Otis is always keeping an eye out on them. And then he goes back to his cronies and he tries to stir them up. And it looks like they've done that before. They've got him around there, roughed him up, made him upset, made him cry. But then, a week later, he's playing with a little girl again. Well, he's had enough. He wants to do something a little bit permanent. But his co-workers, they're not really buying that. His friends are saying, look, I'll rough him up a little bit, but I ain't going to hurt him. I'm not going to hurt him permanent. I'm not going to kill him. So while he fails in that, Otis dries off. Anyway, Mary Lee and Bubba are playing, and they come across a yard where there's a really cool little backyard with a lot of fountains and gnomes and whatnot. And and Mary Lee goes inside a weakened fence after being told by Bubba not to do it. Oh, she goes in there and she spooks the guard dog, and it looks like the guard dog is going to attack Mary Lee, but Bubba comes in there and he saves her. And I think based on what we're seeing now from the movie, because Bubba brings Mary Lee home to her mother, and she's covered in blood. Well, now we know too, after watching that, I had to think about this for a minute. The blood that was on the little girl was the dog's. Bubba killed the dog in defending Mary Lee. But when the mother saw it, it looked like her daughter was dead because she had fainted. And so instantly in a small town, it went around that Bubba had hurt Mary Lee. And that's all what Otis needs. He grabs his three friends and they start hunting for Bubba using dogs. They track him to his home where his mom's there. But Mrs. Ritter and Bella have a plan. They have a plan that they use to hide Bubba from the men. But what happens is the men are bringing the dogs. They've never brought dogs before. They've come out to the house looking for Bubba, but they can't find him because he's hidden so well. But they have dogs this time, and they follow Bubba and they find out where he's hiding at. And his mom has basically made him into a scarecrow, put him in scarecrow clothing, and put him on the field. So he's hiding as a scarecrow. Well, Charles Durning sees it. He sees him in there, and Bubba's terrified. He didn't do anything, but he's terrified. Well, the men go back, and they kill him. They kill Bubba in cold blood. And of course, this being a small town and connections, and he's on special needs, and and you get the weight of civil. The postman is one of the people saying that Bubba attacked them, and well, the four men get off. They don't get charged for the murder. This, of course, starts a chain of events that sees the four men face all sorts of vengeance. And we also find out that what Otis had accused Bubba of being and doing was in turn what he was doing. And I won't tell you about that, but you can guess. And so the men all face, as Bubba's mom says, there's different justice in this world. And those four men that killed her son, well, they face that justice. This is a really good movie. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, for a TV movie, you don't think about it too much. It's a made-for-TV movie. It's not going to be gory. It's not going to be, there's no curse words. There's no, there's none of what you suspect. But this really is a superior movie. It's amazing that they did not touch it at all. I mean, they didn't need to. I'm just really surprised they actually did it alone. And surprisingly, this movie is very, very, it is terrifying. And the kills, holy shit, for a TV movie, let me tell you, it brings the noise. It really brings the noise. Now, they're not showing things graphically. They're not going to show you, I mean, they show, but the two of the kills are just outstanding. And yes, they're very, I mean, they're ones that stay with you, and you're sitting there going like, I can't believe they let this go on TV, but they did. In fact, I sort of wish the last one I wish had been a little bit more drawn out, because he deserved it. Face it, he deserved it. As we'll talk about the cast real quick. The cast was headed by Charles Durning, and he played against type in this movie as Odo Hazelrig. Charles Durning was awesome in this movie. I did not even recognize him. And I've seen a lot of Charles Durning performances, but he was downright scary as hell in this movie. And what's funny is that I'm just thinking to myself when I was watching, I'm going like, I wonder how the U.S. Postal Service is feeling, because he wears his uniform throughout the whole damn movie. That's what he wears. That's his outfit. He's wearing his postal outfit all through the movie. When he's at home, when he's going to a night function, or he's wearing his damn. It's almost like he can't take it off. It's his respectability. The town people see him as respectable because he's the postman, and so he's afraid that if he takes off his uniform, maybe they'll see the real him, the real Otis. Robert Lane Smith, who played in the New Adventures of Superman. He played the best friend, and really good. Robert F. Lyons played Skeeter Norris. Yeah, Skeeter was just in a wrong. He's just with the wrong. He was just He was the weakest of them all. Just absolutely just had no spine whatsoever. No spine. He was just terrified. He was scared of his own shadow. Wow. But it was a good performance. Claude Earl Jones played Fillsby, the other of the four men who whose demise was very, very well justified. And yeah, I was like, hell yeah, that's exactly what he deserves that. Larry Drake, as I mentioned, he played Bubba, and actually, it's one of the things for fans of the movie. If you know someone who has watched the movie, it's when they come up there and they say Bubba didn't do it, because that's what Bubba says. Bubba didn't do it. Larry Drake, of course. This was not the first. This was his first time playing a slow character. This would not be the last. He would end up playing on L.A. Law as Benny, where he won many awards for his performance. But of course, you also know Larry Drake as one of the original supervillains of a superhero movie in Darkman. He played Durant. Well, he wasn't like a superhero. I mean, supervillain per se, with all sorts of powers and gadgets and shit. But Darkman was one of the first superhero movies, and he was the bad guy. Very well done role. He came back for another Darkman movie, The Return of Durant, and he also played Dr. Giggles in the horror comedy Dr. Giggles. He played a mad dentist, who that's scary already. And the last part was we mentioned is Tonya Crowe, who played Mary Lee Williams. She did not stay acting very much. She did Knots Landing, and she pretty much retired in 2001. The movie was scored by Glenn Paxton, who did a good score. I didn't find it quite as effective as the Felita and Feigelson's mentioned, but it was serviceable. It was good. And the thing about it is, though, is that everybody pretty much after this movie, as far as the Felita and Feigelson, and they pretty much, that's just their peak. They didn't do too much after this. Feigelson, he wrote TV movies. He wrote an episode of Twilight Zone. Felita only directed 2 more movies after this, including his last movie being 1991 Scissors, that featured Sharon Stone and Steve Railsback. I really like this movie. I highly recommend it. It is on DVD. You will have to hunt for it. It probably is out of print. I do know that the VCI released it on Blu-ray and DVD. The last time we got a general release was 2012. So there are copies still out there. You'll just have to hunt for it. So Dark Night of the Scarecrow was the very first movie, as I mentioned, that was the very first movie that featured a scarecrow and started the scarecrow genre. Very well done. Very well done. And highly respectable. Yeah, I can totally dig it. And highly recommend it. So if you can find yourself a copy of Dark Night of the Scarecrow, do so. Pick it up. I'd like to thank Hobbs for sending me this copy. That was an amazing, that's an amazing movie, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. What's really good about this release, I got one thing here, is there's special features on it, including Tonya Crowe, J.D. Feigelson, Larry Drake going to their very first convention. They went to a convention in Kentucky, and they talked about the movie. I'm not sure what the convention was, what year it was, but it had to be maybe back 10 years ago or so. Yep. So it's other special features, trailers, TV spots, whatnot. All right, well, that's the end of this review. Thank you for watching it. If you made it through this long, please consider subscribing. Me and the Cheetah are only 10 away from 300. We'd like to get there soon. Hit the bell, notification bell, and leave a comment down below and give us a thumbs up. All right. And we will see you this Sunday night at 10 p.m. for the Midnight Hour with John Oak Dalton, the screenwriter for Scarecrow County. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.